What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. I hope your Easter was well. I gotta be honest, mine was just frustrating. It's still Easter for me, and I'm recording right now at 10 p.m. because I'm frustrated. You ever feel like the whole world turns against you, or all the walls want to collapse and try to get to you? That's where I'm at right now. I am here to record some RPG horror stories so I can distract myself from the annoyance of life. So without further ado, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. My sweet escape from reality. Had a player issue an ultimatum to me, the DM, during a session. I feel like this is fairly mid as RPG horror stories go, but it still threw me for a loop. This past Friday, I ran a session with a player exploring an abandoned cursed city. We had left off the previous week with the party having made their way inside and gotten lost, as the building seemed to shift around them. They had just made it to an inn with a glowing golden light inside, and a face looking out at them from a window. The inn was protected safe zone, made so by an act of divine intervention on behalf of the paladin inside. The character looking out the window was a new player who was just joining the group. This week we picked up in some discussion between characters about plans for navigating the city, introduction to the new character, etc. They each had a little downtime for preparations before turning in for the night. And then I had the party's employer, a witch, visit the new character in a dream. We got to learn the new character's motivations as a deal was struck in exchange for their service in helping the party on their quest to retrieve a MacGuffin. Throughout this, the problem player kept cutting others off and trying to rush things along. Yeah, we all go to sleep and then wake up wasted. Now we're exploring the city. And wait, we carry out the plan. Maybe we got where we headed. What's next? In the midst of other characters still talking to NPCs, gathering information, or role-playing amongst themselves as they talk to the new character. I had an eye on the clock and things were moving along at a good pace. We just had some story things to play out. That wasn't sitting well with this player, who just continued to be rude and pushy. I got to the point where two other players were DMing me asking what was up with this guy. Listen, if you go into a D&D session or really any TTRPG and you're trying to rush things along, I gotta be honest, if you think you're gonna be done with a session within like an hour or two, you're in for a really bad time. Unless the DM specifically says, yeah, the session's gonna be done like 2 hours or something, roughly, then maybe you can try to shoot for 2 hour mark. But trying to push things along and rush things along, most D&D sessions, at least my D&D sessions, I mean not my particular, but the ones that I play in or DM in, they tend to have a bit of a estimated length to it, right? Because while you as a DM can have a specific plan, the players are gonna have other plans, and whenever everybody wants to do everything together all at once without having a specific railroad to follow or a specific time crunch to fill, obviously players and DMs are gonna take their time going through it. Because listen, you can't rush some moments. An important roleplay moment where you confide to the party about your deepest, darkest secret or your connection with the BBG, you can't rush that kind of thing, because if you rush it, it becomes like well, the best way to explain it, it's like one of those anime that could be an A+ if they gave at least a few more seconds and a few sentences to write out the details, but they don't do that. They kind of just rush things along and things feel hurried. Have you ever watched like a movie or an anime where it just feels like things are going way too fast? I did actually just recently. Mary and I watched together, I forgot the name of it, but it's something about like I left my A-rank party to go dungeon adventure with my students or something along the lines of that. I have the little picture and the name right here, probably, if I remember. Editor, make sure to put in the title of the anime. Top secret, I'm the editor. There is no editor, it's just me. But either way, when it comes to these sort of things, it is kind of rude to push things along. I get if, let's say for example, everybody agreed we're gonna try to end the session in 3 hours or less, because we're all gonna be busy, we all got stuff going on. It's a Monday morning tomorrow, so we all gotta get some rest at some point or some extent, because work is tomorrow, you know? But if things are just chill and things are coming along nicely, it's really rude to just push people along just for the sake of your own selfish needs. Let people just have their time. Let them have the moment. You're in no rush. If you need to AFK on Twitter or something, I mean, as long as the rest of the party don't mind, go ahead and AFK on Twitter or wherever you look at. RPG Horror Stories, Morrow YouTube channel. Great place, by the way. You should definitely AFK on there. Also, I have a question. Is the ultimatum going to be from other players wanting to kick this guy out? Or is the ultimatum going to be from this problem player? Oh, now that'd be spicy. The paladin makes a show of taking down the barrier protecting the inn, and the party set out, quickly getting lost by the shifting buildings. They had surmised the light was part of the solution, as the city was blanketed by heavy clouds and the days were being perceived as being unnaturally shortened, but they initially held off on using either the druid's daylight spell or a magical orb that I'd given them previously for fear that their resource would need to be conserved. Finally, they chose to cast daylight spell on the problem player's arrow, while the rogue climbed a nearby building. The fire arrow revealed a path forward and gave the rogue a brief glimpse of the true layout of the city street. That's when things came to a head. Problem player cutting off the rogue mid-sentence as he was telling the party what he saw. "Wait, sunlight was the answer. We'll get to the castle at the center of the city. What did we find?" Hold on. Rogue, you were saying? "If the next word out your mouth aren't you arrive at the castle, then I'm gone." Are you kidding me? Rogue, you climb back down the rope to the street below and Discord chimes as problem player disconnects. The shadow then flow out from between the nearby buildings like a black inky liquid. The many streams of shadow pull together in the streets ahead, and the liquid begins to drip upwards, forming itself into the shape of a figure. So, 30 seconds after the impatient a-hole disconnects, we were rolling for initiative for the combat that he apparently couldn't wait to get to. He started texting me immediately afterwards. I sent him a message saying that I'd reach out a few days to talk, but I didn't want to waste any more time on him. I was, and still am, annoyed. I apologized to the other players, and we carried on. The new player, in her first ever D&D combat, did a great job in the open round, and we'll pick up mid-encounter this next Friday. Sometimes the best thing you can do, DM, is literally nothing. In this situation, yeah, if you want to talk to the problem player about why you don't want to really have them in there or why you don't want to rush things, it's very valid for you to describe exactly why you don't want to rush things or why you felt things were properly at pace. In fact, if anything, I would think that maybe it might be good. Actually, who am I kidding? The problem player is not going to explain themselves. They think they're in the right. The things have to be rushed immediately. The things need to be hurried along because for whatever reason, they simply can't just wait 30 seconds for the combat encounter to begin. I have no idea why the problem player wanted to rush things along so badly. Whatever the case may be, in this situation, the problem player removed themselves out of a game. And the fact that you didn't really acknowledge them, well, give apology to your players that I don't think was really necessary. But the fact that you continued on as if it was normal, I think that was the good plan. Without a problem player, not only do you have a person that's not gonna try to hurry things along, and you retain the rest of your party, and the new person is gonna be playing with you guys as well. So in my opinion, that's kind of a win-win. You guys got your own group, which got your own pacing, and if everybody else is cool with the pacing you guys are at, then it's fine. If the problem player is the only one having a problem with this, it must be their problem, really. I don't see how it is your problem. At the end of the day, I feel like maybe the best thing to do is really not contact the guy. I mean, if he decides to contact you and try to have you explain something going on, I mean, I guess you could just say, "Hey man, the pacing works out for us, but why are you trying to rush things along? What's going on with your life? Why are you in a hurry and so much?" Every group is going to have their own pace, and you guys found your own pace. That clearly is not a, clearly is a problem to this problem player. So at the end of the day, I guess the problem kind of resolved itself. I don't know. Viewers, what do you think? Was that resolved itself, or do you think there's something more going on behind the scenes? Because maybe I missed it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get to the next story for today. My Gooner DM turned my character into a funny adult toy. Can I even say the word Gooner? Whatever. So this is a bit of a weird one. A couple of years ago, I agreed to join this online game that my friend was in, and they recently lost a player, and were looking for someone to replace them. I was free at the time and wanted to play, so I agreed, and after speaking briefly with the DM, everything seemed fine. Though I live within about an hour by car, I needed a flight or a long train to see any of them. Was the game by any chance fatal? Just asking for a friend. I'm the friend. I'm asking for myself. Anyway, very important thing to note. At the time of me joining this campaign, I was 17 years old. My friend was 19, and the others who I didn't know were around 19 to 24, with the DM being 26. I did at no point hide my age, and we checked with everybody that it would be okay for me to join, and that the campaign would be suitable for me to be in. When it came to making my character, I read through the lore the DM provided, and decided that I wanted to play a half drow, as there was a faction composed of drow outcasts that she would fit in well with. People who, like her, didn't typically fit into the typical society. She was going to be an agent of this faction sent to the city the campaign was in, working against a corrupt drow businesswoman who was attempting to spread her influence in the city. Although the DM initially allowed this, he came back 2 days before the last session I was supposed to be in, and said I had to make a new backstory. The faction didn't allow half-breeds, he said, even though he said it was fine earlier, and told me to make something else. I tried to stick vaguely close to what I wanted originally, and now my character had lost her parents after the drow businesswoman, and now also Lone Shark had sent her thugs to beat them down for money, going too far, in killing them, and my character was there for revenge. I don't know if this was pointed out for half-breeds. I mean, it was in quotations in particular. Maybe it's an important detail, maybe it's not. I don't know. Keep that on the back of our head, just in case it becomes important. This also got approved and then vetoed hours before this session, and I was given a new backstory by the DM to use. My character lived in a small village, and when she was young, her village was attacked. Everyone was either killed or rounded up as a survivor and taken into slavery by bandits. At the bandit camp, my character was made to watch as her mother and sister were sexually assaulted by the bandits and then sold off, with my character being kept as a special gift. What? Hold on 1 second. That is... So the DM just says... First they're like, yeah, you can be a half drow and be part of this thing, but now you can't be. Okay, you can be a regular drow, but now you can't have your backstory. I know what we can do for you. You in a village, and then you got taken away, Goblin Slayer style, and now you're a victim, a sex victim of the bandits, including your family, and you're a special gift. Whatever that's supposed to mean, special gift. You know what? I have ideas, but I don't think I can say them on YouTube. I do have ideas, and you're probably guessing exactly what this special gift exactly means in this situation. Yeah, probably a gift for some sort of a sleazy nobleman that wants to use drows for their weird and twisted ways. That's the best way I can really describe it without going too explicit for YouTube. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, this is already crazy. Please tell me you told him no. When a knight came across the bandit group, he slaughtered them all, and when my character thought she was saved, he revealed he was actually a servant of a lord of the city, here to collect her. This lord was the man the bandits worked for, and he had them killed to cover his tracks. My character is brought to him and branded as his slave. She's forced to grow up as a servant and also his companion. She quickly forgave him, what? For forcing himself on her when she was quite underage, and came to love him because it actually felt good. In the present, the party are looking into something the Lord is associated with, so he sends my character, his servant, who I was directed to play as loyal and in love with him, to infiltrate the party as a spy and protect him. What kind of fetish nonsense is this? It sounds like the DM has like a fetish king that they're forcing into for this specific character. What? They didn't even check back with you? And especially considering the fact that you're technically under 18, so technically a minor, technically, I don't know exactly where you're from, but in my opinion, if you're below 18, none of that like not safe for work stuff should be completely off the table. Once you're all on the table, on the couch, on the kitchen, whatever, do whatever the hell you want to do, but not if you have somebody under 18, especially with this kind of story. Not only were you not old enough as a slave, but you're also a concubine for a sleazy lord, and apparently you were forced to fall in love with him because, yeah, apparently sexual abuse just felt that good that she decided, okay, I'm over my trauma. I just like this guy now. Thanks for the trauma. I like the What? This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Please tell me you said no to this. Please tell me you said this is not what I want for my character. Also, why is the DM just thinking of this out of nowhere on the spot? I feel like it's something that DM was probably thinking of in the back of his head for a long time because it's way too planned out. What the hell? I did not write any of that backstory myself. I did not want to play that twisted version of my character, but I was told that it was either that or I wasn't allowed to play. The DM got into a voice call with me and even got my friend into it as well, where they both pressured me into agreeing and playing this character. This DM sucks and your friend sucks for trying to pressure you to play this character. I hope you said no. What is this? Why are they pressuring you to play this? What was wrong with the other backstory? And the second write of the backstory, I saw nothing wrong with it. I thought it was fine. Unless it's, you don't think it's a kind of like a weird sex game, is it? Could be actually. Maybe. Wait, did your friend tell you about that? I'm reading through the story and your friend didn't say anything about that. It just like, so according to your story, according to your recounting of it, basically the DM said last minute before the session began, oops, you can't have your backstory. Here's this other horrifying backstory about your character being a very special gift. I hate the way they use the word gift. Either you use it or the DM used it. Either way, it's gross. This is beyond unreasonable. This is just completely taking away anything from your character is and then making you play, what, a drow sex doll, I guess? Great. Fantastic. Incredible. That's wonderful. Please tell me you said no to them. Please tell me me you said no. Very shortly after, session begins, and I realize something is odd about my character sheet. My items have been changed. My character name has been changed as well. Her name was Avalashar, and it has been changed to Ash. I changed it back. Thinking the DM had just shortened it, but all my items and spells was still different. Oh, so you decide to still play with the game, and then you find out that apparently everything about your character is completely different. You know probably what exactly happened? The DM had this character on his side that they've been wanting to just ham-fist into the campaign at some point. Maybe the DM and the friend, I don't know, but most likely the DM. They were thinking of, ooh, a drow sex slave, and they made the character sheet and everything. So you know what they did with your character sheet? Probably put it aside or tossed it aside and gave you this brand new character sheet that isn't even yours, with none of the stuff that you selected. That is even more screwed up. Not only do you not get to play your character, you get to play somebody else's fan fiction of a character. This is nuts. Why'd you stay? Why did you stay? At the end of the first session with the group, the DM berated me before the rest of the group for my poor behavior. He said I was being rude, unfriendly, and I was constantly trying to gaslight the other players that if I didn't get my act together, there wouldn't be serious repercussions. Reminder, I'm 17. This is a 26-year-old man, and the rest of the people are men, mostly in the early 20s, all laughing at me. I was only playing the character as I was coached. I don't know how I was gaslighting people. Sounds like targeting. And the fact that your friend also laughed at you with everybody else laughing at you. Dude, I think you're in a group full of bullies, honestly. I think they just literally just brought you in just to make fun of you, poke fun at you or something. I have no idea what it is. This sounds like a group that sucks. It sounds like a group that genuinely sucks. I want to drop out immediately, but my friend guilt-tripped me into continuing to play with this group. It was stupid, and I shouldn't have, but I wanted to please this guy, and it was stupid. Less that's said about him, the better. Oh, are you unfortunately one of those people that's a people pleaser? Like if you have like friends and stuff, you want to make sure you please your friends in order to make sure that they're happy with everything you do? If you are, you need to realize at some point that there is a moment between making your friends happy or doing, you know, working best to make your friends happy and then make a play dormant to people that generally don't care that much about you or try to use your kindness and manipulate you in such a way. Because this is straight up manipulation. Your friend is trying to talk you into continue to play this basically a sex doll. Like that's basically what it is. It's not even your character, it's somebody else's dirty fan fiction character. It's basically what it is. And they want to just pressure you to continue playing in this situation, in this campaign, probably so they can keep poking fun at your character or keep poking fun at you or whatever. Clearly feels like some sort of targeting or something. You're playing a role that you don't even want to play. You're literally playing somebody else's character, somebody else's fantasy, somebody else's sick, disgusting fantasy that they have. Is this a fetish? This has to be like some sort of a fetish game or a way for DM and everybody else to self-insert this fetish ham-fist nonsense with your character or your character. Sorry, you're not playing your character. You get to play somebody else's fan fiction sagas all over character. Basically, the next session was even worse than the first. Once again, my character's name, equipment, and spells had all been changed again. This time though, her character art had been changed as well. Avalashar was a scrawny girl, choppy hair that she cut herself with a dagger and a cocky smirk. She didn't have big proportions that people would find attractive. She'd be considered below average. Talked a big game, maybe a bit too big, and could slip into places most people wouldn't. Yet my token was completely different. The DM, between sessions, maybe even before the first session, had commissioned art of my character and essentially turned her into a sex doll. Blown out lips, bedroom eyes, long silky hair, massive breasts. Her armor was completely gone, and instead she had what I can only call a stripper dress and heels. This session, the other party members also started hitting on me in and out of character. So basically confirm correct. This is, you're not playing your character, you're playing somebody else's fetish basically. They're ham-fisting your fetish onto your character that's not even your character. It's just, you get to play someone else's fantasy. Maybe the fantasy of the tide table. Who knows? Honestly, I think it's so bewildering that your friend is even gaslighting you and trying to manipulate you and like pressure you to stay in this game to keep playing this character. It's insane to me. It's insane. That's not a friend. That's an a-hole. The entire group sucks. I hope at some point throughout the story you actually wake up and decide to quit this, because this sounds like it's just a miserable experience. Listen, if they want to have their own Gooner doll to play the game, they could just make an NPC. Why turn a player character into that? I have guesses. Maybe it's because you're a female and they just need a girl to the table to play as the Gooner female basically for the party, and they just think, oh, just make my friend do it and stuff, which is a really disgusting and horrible way to treat person just in general. Or maybe they're just using using this as a way to basically pick on you because you're the new person. And they're like, yeah, pick on the new person. Screw them. Screw what they want to do. Right, guys? Let's do it. Let's give them a Gooner doll to play as a player character. If they want to have a Gooner companion found them, they could have just made an NPC and have DM roleplay them if they really want to. Not bring another person in. This is all levels of messed up, honestly, but let's finish the story. I left the session at the end, blocked everyone, and have repeatedly blocked my friend who keeps making new accounts to try to talk to me. It was incredibly gross and disgusting. I never felt so uncomfortable before. I've been extremely picky about my D&D game since. If you have a gut feeling about a group, just follow it. Edit. After talking with people in the comments, I wanted to add some further clarification. When I say that people were hitting on me in and out of character, they were trying to elicit sexual favors from my character and wanted me to roleplay it with them either in front of the group or in a private call. Since I joined them before playing in any session, they wanted to all meet up in IRL session with how they acted towards me in sessions, as well as things the friend who wanted me to play have said. I strongly believe they were intending to sexually assault me and play out these sex scenes that were trying to get me to do for the campaign. So yeah, not the greatest people. And good thing you decided not to talk to them, and especially good thing you didn't do the meetup, because if they want to play out those sexual fantasies with you, especially against your own will, that's Anyway, like Hopi said, trust your gut feeling if you have some sort of weird steezy things about it. But another thing as well is if you have this kind of behavior that is happening or any similar behavior that makes you feel uncomfortable, you should always, I always say, you should always call it out. No matter if it is just, just a bunch of people trying to pressure you to do this one thing or the other, you should still call it out regardless. If it's some sort of a sex thing that should be enforced upon your character for no reason, say, hey, why is this sex thing being forced upon my character? Why isn't it forced upon everybody else's? How come my character sheet is different? How come equipment and spells are different? How come this character is not even my character? What is going on here? Oh, this backstory can't be used. Why? What's wrong with the backstory? Can you clarify why I have to be some sort of weird sex bimbo instead of just playing my character that I want to play my character? Also, friend, buddy, why are you pressuring me to join for this thing? Are you also part of the creepdom? Are you also going to be a creep with the DM as well? Is everybody else also a pervert and gooner freak? And listen, there's nothing wrong with being a pervert like me. I'm a certified pervert. I'm a horny devil. Get it? See? Because see the horns and I love the succubi women. But at the end of the day, if my perversion is going to affect other people's enjoyment of D&D or life in general, of course I'm not going to be ham-fisting my fetishes and my kinks into something, specifically into TTRPG. My kinks are my own. Nobody can see my kinks. My kinks are like my tits. They're mine and nobody can have them. Anyway, I'm glad you decided to basically bail out on these people. And next time something like that happens and it makes you feel uncomfortable, really, don't be afraid to just quit out. Honestly, the tried and true method of no D&D is better than bad D&D. It's still true to this day. Would you be missing out for D&D in this session? Yes. Would it be a good thing? Yes, because you wouldn't have to surround it with a bunch of these perverts. You could spend your time looking for other groups and be very selective about this stuff. Also, regarding your friend in the story, yeah, keep them blocked no matter what. They're scumbag. In fact, if you wanted to just let him know how much of a scumbag they are, go right ahead. I hope writing this RPG horror story made you feel a little bit better. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.